online scammers are luring people with the promise of love and then cleaning out their bank accounts with what seems to be investment advice.
Sadly, today, it ain't that kind of party. Today I've got some sad news, some bad news, but some very necessary news for the VT community. So earlier in the week, I posted a tweet letting you guys know that we had received several complaints from people who were talking about people imitating me on social media, pretending to be me, soliciting funds for investment. Now, this isn't new, like it happens a lot, right? If you are a person with some acclaim, a decent following, there's bound to be somebody out there who's going to be copying your name, your look, your image, your images, your posts, and they'll create a mirror page, and then they'll go out there and they'll solicit funds in your name. This is, tons of these happen. I'm sure you've been on social media before and you see somebody go fake profile. Except, in this instance, it's not just that the person said fake profile. It's also that we actually know who the copycat person is. Or do we? All right, so let's get going. Today, I want to give you guys the DNA of how to spot a scammer online. And I'm going to use myself as an example, how somebody has copied and mirrored me, and how you can spot some of these scammers when they are operating online and how you can see them online. So, this is how to spot a scammer online. Number one, this is the easiest thing to look out for. You don't require any training to do this. You don't require any special equipment to do this. You don't require any assistance to do this. This is the easiest thing to look out for, and here's what it is. Punctuation. For whatever reason, scammers didn't go to school. I'm not sure why, but as it appears, they didn't get past 4th grade English. And all of them use really, really poor punctuation. Either they write sentences incorrectly, or the sentence construction is incorrect, or there's a comma that's missing, a full stop that's missing, a capital letter that's missing. Now, if you are talking to a scammer online and you're on your mobile device, one of the things you want to do is to slow the conversation down. The only reason you can't spot the grammar is incorrect or the punctuation is incorrect is because you're reading it as fast as they're typing it. Remember, the average scammer is probably sitting in a dark room somewhere with a mobile device thumping away, right? They're not running a proper, actual script behind the scenes that's checking their punctuation before they send out the notice. This is not official company communication. It's somebody who is talking to someone, and they don't understand that there is a difference between official company communication and a text messaging that's going out. Look out for the punctuation. And in this example of my specific example here, you'll see several instances highlighted to you now where the punctuation is bad. To spelt with 2 O's and not 1 O. I spelt with a small letter, not a capital. The beginning of a sentence without the full stop from the old sentence. These are the basic things to look out for when you're dealing with a scammer, right? Punctuation. Number two. So I made this video because this particular young lady, and who will keep her anonymous for the purposes of this video, reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, I've been dealing with somebody and they were impersonating you, pretending to be you. I genuinely thought it was you. I've invested some money with them and I don't think it was you. Then they started sending me the communication. They PDF'd the full communication with them and they sent me the screenshots. And of course, within a blink of an eye, I could tell that this immediately obviously wasn't me. It wasn't any of my administrators on any of our social media platforms. This was a scam. This person was scammed. But I could tell that in the first 0.5 of a second. The question for you is, how can you tell in the first 0.5 of a second? Here's the answer. Right. If you're dealing with an individual that's well known, right, on social media, there are a few things to do. First, if it's on Facebook, IG, TikTok, anywhere, type their name and see if they don't have a verified account. This is the very purpose of verified, right? If they have a verified account, then you want to check if the verified account and the one you're dealing with are one and the same. Let's assume they don't have a verified account. What's the other thing you want to look out for? Well, you actually want to look at their community size. Now, if you are dealing with somebody who's pretending to be me on Instagram, for instance, and this has happened several times. My page currently on Instagram has 815,000 followers. If you're dealing with somebody on Instagram who's got 8,000 followers pretending to be me, all you need to do is type my name, see how many accounts pop up, go to the one with the largest following, that probably is going to be the legitimate person you're going to be dealing with, not the one that's got 200 followers or 2,000 followers or is third from the bottom of all of the accounts that come up in that person's name. So you bear the responsibility of verifying and checking that the person you're dealing with is the right person. Do they have a verified account? And do the followers that they have reflect the kind of clout and influence that this person has in society? If they don't, you're probably dealing with a scammer. The third thing you want to look for is just the spelling of their name. And how do you do that? Go online. Literally go on Google. And if you thump their name, even if you spell it incorrectly, Google will correct the name for you. At the top function, it'll say, did you mean? It'll have their correct name. Then if you click on it, it'll take you to their actual profile and all of their Google search results. Immediately, you will have their actual name. This is their actual name, and you can compare that with the account that you're doing or that you're dealing with. Now, typically what happens with me, people will spell my first name Vusi, V-U-S-S-I, to fool people, or they'll spell it V-U-S-I and they'll, leave out the H in my surname, or they'll turn the E's into A's or something like this. And if you're looking quickly, you're not paying attention, you're not going to notice that you're not dealing with a legitimate bona fides account. So the third thing you want to do is just check the name. Go to Google, reference the name, check the name, and make sure that you're dealing with the right person. The fourth thing you want to do, and again, all you're doing here is you're just checking if you're dealing with the right account. Here's what you do. As somebody who's been catfished before, I know how it feels, and it's very, very annoying. Here's what you do. You crop the image of the person you're dealing with, you take it to Google, and you paste that image, and you ask the question, who is? Google takes the image, and it'll search, and it'll tell you the legitimate name of that person. If it's LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Vusi Thembekwayo or Charlize Theron or whoever it is, it'll tell you who that person actually is. Because what a number of these scammers do, they will find the profiles of attractive women on Instagram, they'll create a copycat profile, and they'll start dumping the photos of the attractive person on Instagram, right? This profile starts to grow a little bit. You end up with a few thousand people following the profile, but all they've done is they've copied the profile of somebody else. Then they use this copycat profile to start scamming people. So what you want to do is to make sure, before I click on this account that says the guy that looks like this is Tyler Perry, I don't know, let me just add his image and see, is this the real person? Great. Now I've got the image and the person. Do the names match? Great. Now I know the image, the person, and the names. And does the following make sense? And if the following makes sense, is this a verified account? A simple 4-step process that will save you a whirlwind of trouble when you're dealing with people. The fifth and final step, and this is probably the most important one. Listen, people who have large following on social media, people who've done well, who've got a bit of acclaim, some fame, who've got some money, who've got influence, typically aren't sitting behind their phones inboxing people. I know you thought like you got the inbox and you're like, oh my God, he likes me, oh my God. It's not that deep, fam. Ty Diggs didn't send you that message. Morris Chestnut was sleeping when you got that inbox. I guarantee you, John Legend be busy. John Legend is out there writing a song, right? He's busy. John Legend is the guy who was drowning, but he's breathing fine. You guys remember, my head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. I know, I'm sorry. So John Legend can drown and be breathing fine. But the point is, John Legend didn't send you that inbox. That inbox you got didn't come from Vusi Thembekwayo or John Legend or Cyril Ramaphosa or the late Nelson Mandela or anybody like that. It's a scammer. If you're getting an inbox unsolicited from an unverified account, somebody that's well known and important, it's probably a scam. Just this basic DD is going to save you a whirlwind of trouble. Trust me on this. So, the third sign that you might be dealing with a scammer, right, is they start soliciting from you, and typically there are a few things to look out for. The first thing to look out for is that they're going to solicit from you something you don't need. There's an investment opportunity, or something like this. The second thing they do, and this is the one that usually works the best, they send you an inbox and they go, hey, you've just won $5,000 in this thing that we're doing. Your name came up and you won $5,000. You're excited. Middle of the month, you don't have $5,000. You would love to get this $5,000. And you go and you check, and this is somebody that looks credible, right? So you hit on it and you go, yo, this is amazing. How do I get my $5,000? This is immediately what happens. They go, for you to claim your $5,000, for you to unlock your $5,000, for you to receive your $5,000, you need to pay this amount in an admin fee, or the one I saw in my specific case is a strategic investment plan. Then there is a different amount you need to pay for the immediate release of the payment, right? But there's constantly money you need to pay before they pay you. Here's what you do when somebody does that. Tell them, why don't you take the money I must pay you from the money I've won and pay me the difference? I mean, really, if I've just won $5,000, but you need me to pay you $500 to claim my $5,000, just pay me $4,500 and you keep the $500, right? Why don't you do that? They're not going to do that because you haven't won $500, you haven't won $5,000. So immediately what starts to happen is they now want you to pay them for them to release your money. There are a few red flags to look out for here. I'm a big proponent of technology, as you guys know. I love tech, I'm all about tech, but I also understand that there is a dark side to technology. And one of the things to look out for is increasingly what we are seeing when people come to us and they're complaining that they have been scammed or defrauded in Vusi Thembekwayo's name and we know nothing about it, is that the scammers are using cryptocurrency. The minute somebody sends you a cryptocurrency address with an exchange for you to deposit your funds into, this is not a person you know, not a company you're aware of, and you've not verified any of this, immediately, my advice to you is going to be run. Just run. Because the minute you put it into that cryptocurrency account, that's it. It's gone. It's in the ether. You have no recourse, no claim. That money's not coming back. And worse, because it's cryptocurrencies, it's not like you can go to the authorities and they're going to find out who the person is behind this. Now, there are ways to find out who a person is behind this, but that's on the presumption that you've got, fairly sophisticated level of technical and technological skill, which the average person just doesn't. That's why the scammers use cryptocurrencies, because they know you don't know where to go to find out who is the unique person behind that address. So, immediately they send a cryptocurrency address, run. This is an immediate red flag that something is going on and is something that you want to take a double look at. Fourthly, now in my specific instance here, let me draw for you the scenario of what had happened. This young lady was inboxed by somebody who was purporting to be me, and not just purporting to be me, but purporting to be me representing one of my firms, my growth fund. And they were saying that my growth fund is a trading platform. Just a simple cursory look at our website can tell you, we're not a trading company, we don't do over-the-counter tradings, we don't do derivatives, we don't do any of these things. We're not in Forex, nothing like this. We're not licensed for it, it's not an asset class we understand, it's not something we trade in. That's not what my growth fund does. If this young person had gone online and Googled my growth fund, went and clicked and read on our website what it is we actually do, they would have known that the product set that they were being sold is not a product set that we trade in. It's not a game we're in. It's not something we're licensed to do. It's not a game. There aren't even any videos of me talking about doing this stuff. Immediately, a red flag. So this person was purporting to be me representing my firm, and of course they were not. Then what they did was they created a fake profile of my firm, and they just copied the name, and they created a screenshot. This is the next thing to look out for. Legitimate companies don't deal in screenshots. You ever bought medical aid or medical insurance? Did the insurance company send you a screenshot? You insure your car? Did they send you screenshots? What about when you bought your property? Did the real estate agent or the bank send you a screenshot? Maybe when you bought your car, did you get screenshots? You don't get screenshots when you're buying your watch or your clothing. You get a legitimate receipt. Why would you accept screenshots online by somebody who says, this is who we are and this is what people are actually saying? The minute it's a screenshot, it's a red flag for you to run. That's not how companies work. They will typically have a website set up with a legitimate chatbot that you can communicate with, and you can have an actual person. They will have an actual landline that you can call with an actual call center and actually licensed in the country that you're living in to sell the exact product that you're wanting to buy from them. And these are all the things that you need to check. Fundamental for you to do your own DD on this. The next one is important, guys. So listen up. Scammers deal in emotion. They're going to use words that trigger you. Words like, do this and it'll help you achieve your goals. In the specific instance I'm dealing with here, this young lady was told, don't doubt yourself. You're going to be okay. Believe in your dreams. Follow through on things. When she calls out the scammer because she can feel that this is a scam and she starts to call the scammer out, the scammer replies and says, listen, I can understand you're disappointed. I get it. If I were in your position, I would feel the same way too. But I want you not to doubt yourself. Give me an additional $900 and I'm going to release $10,900 to you. Don't doubt yourself. Put the money in. First, she's not doubting herself, she's doubting the scammer. Second, the emotional language should let you know something is a red flag. When was the last time you went to the bank to apply for a home loan and the home loan consultant was talking to you in an emotional way, like, don't doubt yourself, get this home loan. Legitimate companies don't deal in emotion like this. They understand that the product itself is a decent product for you to buy. They don't need to leverage your emotion or emotionally manipulate you for you to do anything. They know that you know and that you'll make the best decision for yourself. And guess what? They also know that if you don't buy what they're tendering, there are 100,000 other customers who are willing to buy that product. They don't have to waste the time trying to emotionally manipulate you. So the minute you're dealing with somebody and they emotionally manipulate you, they ask about family or about personal goals, and then they tell you to back yourself, to put your money in, to remember that dream, that home, that car, that holiday. The minute they do that, recognize you are almost certainly dealing with a scammer. All right. So I've given you the DNA of how to spot a scammer when you're dealing with them online. We thought long and hard about whether or not we should put this content out there. And the only reason we actually spend time to put this content here, guys, is because we're seeing a series of incidents of each of you reaching out to my team, particularly my social media team, going, hey, there's a problem here. Just this month of July, and the month is not yet ended, there have been three that have come through, and those are the people who are reporting it. I've received phone calls from people who know me who say, hey, somebody was pretending to be you scamming people, and the people who were scammed were too embarrassed to tell you. I thought I'd just let you know. So it's pretty clear that in the age of machine learning and artificial intelligence and robotics and cryptocurrencies and all the rest of it, as technology is advancing, so too are the tools that scammers are using to scam people. You need to be wildly aware of what's out there. But the great news is this. The great news is that in the specific scam that I've been talking about to you guys, the scammer here actually sent their banking details. So this is how that happened. This young lady who was being scammed here began to feel that something wasn't right. You see it in her writing too. She begins to estimate that something isn't right here and she begins to call out the scammer. So the scammer decided that to reassure her, he would give her his or her bank account so that she could deposit the funds in fiat rather than cryptocurrencies. So we know the bank they bank with, we know the bank account, and we know the branch. My instruction to this young lady who was scammed has been to go to the police and open up a fraud case. It's not something I'm in the position to do, but she can go to the police and open up a fraud case. And once she has a fraud case, she can go to the bank and compel them to let her know whom it is that is the holder of this account. Then the long and slow but rather mighty arm of the law can begin to do its work. Now, I wanted to make this video, and it's not typical of the kind of material that we make, as you guys know, but I thought it was important because I think we're going to see increased incidences of these kind of scams happening. So take the video, share it, like it, distribute it freely with other people out there. There is an old expression that says, a fool and his money are soon parted. I think that expression needs to be updated for the modern day. I think the expression in the modern day is that a digital illiterate and their money are soon going to be parted. Most of us are digitally literate, and it's not something we've done on purpose. It's just the rate at which technology is moving has left a lot of us behind. And what I'm asking of you is to make sure that you take the necessary precautions to protect yourself. Remember the tips that I shared with you, share this video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, family. Sayonara.